lush trees, streams, and wild salt marshes and creeks, Lincoln, Nebraska is the second most populous city in the Midwestern state and home to nearly 300,000 residents who get to enjoy the outdoors, a thriving business community, arts, music, food and entertainment, public parks, and much more. Founded in 1856 as the village of Lancaster, the city was renamed after President Abraham Lincoln and became Nebraska's state capital in 1869. During these times, the city needed to find a way to continue to appeal to current and new residents while taking care of its most basic needs, its waste. In 1888, the Sanitary District No. 1 of Lancaster County installed the first sanitary sewer system and installed 5 miles of wastewater pipe underground to help streamline the town's waste.
Around 1888, there were sewer systems in downtown Lincoln. And in those days, it was called a combined sewer. By that I mean stormwater and sewage were combined and went down the same pipe and went to Salt Creek directly. There was no treatment at all. So over the years, that collection system expanded.
Retired Lincoln Wastewater System Superintendent Randy Wilson looks back on the last 100 years of wastewater treatment progress in Lincoln. He dedicated 27 years of his career from 1984 to 2011 to improve this system to get it to what it is today.
This may sound funny, but a wastewater facility acts a lot like the human body. You ingest food, you metabolize the food, and you get rid of the food, dispose of the food. So to keep that going, you need to have the right bacteria, you have to provide enough oxygen, you have to have the right temperatures. All of these things go together to produce a wastewater discharge that's really safe for the environment.
Assistant Director of Utilities Donna Garden also sees the significance wastewater treatment has played in the last century.
Yeah, 100 years wasn't that long ago, but actually, we obviously none of us wanted to have outhouses in the back of every house in Lincoln or anything like that. We did collect the sewage 100 years ago, but the only thing we did to it was discharge it to the creek. And if you could imagine what that smelled like and looked like, that's not a very pretty picture. And fortunately, we've come a long way since then. In 1972, the Clean Water Act came into place. And over the years, we've continued to go to the state of the art with our water resource recovery facilities so that we're doing the best to clean up that water and discharge it to the environment.
In 1923, the City of Lincoln constructed the first sewage treatment plant called the Teresa Street Sewage Disposal Plant. As the community expanded, so did the amount of waste that was being dumped into Salt Creek. Complaints about the smell of the creek led the Nebraska legislature to pass an act that gave the City of Lincoln authority to manage and operate all 360 miles of wastewater pipe, property, and sewage disposal plant. Sanitary District No. 1 of Lancaster County dissolved, and its employees were hired on to work for the city.
When the first plant was put in 1923, it was called a sewage disposal plant. And that doesn't give a very good name to any kind of treatment or anything like that. But over the years, we've had a number of different names. We've started out as a sewer disposal plant, became a wastewater treatment plant, became a pollution control facility after the EPA acts, and now we're a water resource recovery facility. We don't just treat water, we recover the resources from it.
Through the years, the city began separating solid and organic waste to increase the quality of water being put into Salt Creek.
We had major improvements in the 50s and 60s where we had trickling filter systems. And trickling filters are basically large basins that hold coarse rock, and the bacteria that live on those rocks treated the wastewater, metabolized that waste. But it didn't provide very good treatment because the trickling filters were so susceptible to temperature. In the winter, it was horrible. So eventually we abandoned those and added aeration basins.
In 1971, the Lincoln Sewage Treatment Plant constructed a laboratory to prepare for the Clean Water Act of 1972 that significantly increased water standards across the nation.
We have to know what's coming into the system and what's going out of the system. We not only test the water, we test our biosolids, we test our biogas. All of those things are continually monitored day in, day out in order to know that we are continually meeting those requirements that we have or meeting our specifications on the products that we either sell or discharge into, like a pipeline system.
In the 1980s, the city had grown so much that a second wastewater treatment plant was constructed in northeast Lincoln to meet capacity.
So I initially started in what was then called wastewater collection, which is managing the sewer system throughout the city. And when I first started, I think the city had around 600 miles of sewer. And today they have over 1,000 miles of sewer. So the city has grown a lot, and the maintenance has grown a lot.
Wilson says one of the largest, most challenging projects to date is when the team brought in anaerobic digesters to collect and clean methane gas and then reuse it for other purposes. Russ Murray, a 36-year-old employee of the city, comes from a long line of engineers and farmers. He says this is one of the first projects he had a chance to be a part of.
This system was so complex and so unique, these egg-shaped digesters, that we were one of a handful in our entire country that had one, and ours were the largest in the country. They originated in France and were utilized very well over there, and now we're implementing them everywhere in the United States now.
The 1990s gave way to major technology advancements, including the use of computers and a new Implement Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition System called SCADA that is still used to this day. The high-tech computer system allows for the city team to operate in real time with just a click of a button.
What the operators see on the screen is an instantaneous snapshot of what's going on. The SCADA system allows us to do daily totals, monthly totals, and this really helps in our monthly reporting to the state of Nebraska and EPA. So we can quantify what we're doing, we can look at the quality of the effluent, and just made a tremendous difference.
An additional program still running today includes the creation of Lincoln's biosolids that reuses solids generated from the treatment process and then diverts them from the landfill onto fields to add natural nutrients to the soil. In the 2000s, the idea of just treating the wastewater began transforming into how the city can continue to reuse that water and products we create through the treatment process.
You know, Lincoln's water resource recovery facilities are extremely innovative, and one of the things that I take great pride in is the number of projects that we've done over the years that have increased energy efficiency, not only for the water resource recovery facilities, but for some other facilities around town too. Many people probably don't know that we heat and cool Innovation Campus at the University of Nebraska at Lincoln. And we provide cooling water for the Lincoln Electric System at the Terry Bundy Station. All of those things are from the effluent that is discharged from our water resource recovery facilities.
Lincoln's water resource recovery facilities now reuse 5 billion gallons of its reclaimed water, also known as effluent water, every day.
It takes care of the environment. We have all kinds of fish and bugs and plants out there that are certainly benefited by the treatment that we do. In fact, we have a lot of birds that really like our effluent discharge because it's a great place to find other fish, and it's a great place to swim when it's cold.
In 2004, the use of ultraviolet light to disinfect the water to kill disease-causing organisms began. For the next 10 to 15 years, additional plans to implement odor control measures at the facilities and to expand capacity and improve the treatment process were in full swing.
It's almost as clean as drinkable water.
The team takes pride in knowing the community rarely needs to think about what happens after they flush, no matter where they are.
When the Cornhusker volleyball team is in the stadium, that's 90,003 people that are using the restroom, and it's all coming to us. So yeah, we see flows increase. If we didn't do these things, if we didn't continue to grow and increase our capacity and our abilities to treat waste, there wouldn't be a Memorial Stadium capable of doing that. So I'm proud that we can help provide and all the entertainment for 90,000 plus people with them not even thinking about it.
In 2020, the team successfully implemented their biogas to vehicle fuel program to utilize anaerobic digester gas for renewable fuel that is distributed and sold in the natural gas pipeline system. Revenue from this is invested back into the program.
We call ourselves a water resource recovery facility because we are recovering those resources. Whether it's the biogas, that renewable natural gas that we're generating, or the biosolids that we use for application as fertilizer. All of those things are recovered from that waste stream. But ultimately we're going to be recovering other things too. Phosphorus, nitrogen, those are all things that can be reused in agriculture, and we're looking at recovering those in the future, and I think that's probably the next step.
Today, the wastewater collection system maintains and operates more than 1,100 miles of wastewater pipe in Lincoln. That's nearly 17,000 Husker football fields in length of infrastructure underneath our feet.
Each of us has a specific skill set that we can bring to this organization. And you put them all together, and we make up this great team.
Murray says the sky is the limit when imagining the next 100 years of progress. Future plans include to expand Lincoln's wastewater capacity yet again for the growing community and to continue to increase the water quality.
I think the ultimate goal, as we all know, water is becoming a very scarce resource around the world. And this is one area we can definitely go in and we can say we can reuse this water in a number of different ways. And reuse it for, maybe it's for irrigation purposes, lots of places are already doing that, or maybe ultimately it becomes potable drinking water and something that supplies us with another source of drinking water for Lincoln.
For more information on Lincoln Wastewater System and the Teresa Street and Northeast Water Resource Recovery Facilities, go to lincoln.ne.gov and search wastewater. Erica Hill, Lincoln Transportation and Utilities.